What is buyer due diligence? Once you get a property under contract, that is when you have time to do all the background check about the property to uncover any hidden defects or anything uncomfortable to you, any facts which can affect your decision to go ahead with the deal. So once you get a property under contract, a sale has not been finalized. It's just that offer to purchase is there. It's usually conditional, and the conditional means that you are willing to give this price provided you are happy with whatever you find after you get the property under contract. That's called due diligence. Due diligence is doing your homework before you finalize the sale. So the first step of buyer due diligence is a home inspection. Home inspection, you hire an inspector to check the property's structure, the system, that is electrical, plumbing, HVAC, roof, etc., and overall condition of the house to identify any potential issues. The next one is title search. So verifying that the property's owner is the right one, not that somebody else is selling somebody else's property and getting all the money. Making sure that the person who is selling has the ability to sell, in the sense he's the right person to sell, and there are no liens or legal disputes about this property. And the next one, a part of due diligence, is appraisal. Appraisal is a process by which an appraiser evaluates the property's value independent of the buyer's offer price or seller's asking price. So because when you're buying the property, you want to make sure that the property you're buying is worth the money you're paying. So that is also one part of your due diligence. And then the last part of this due diligence is you have to take a trip to the local town office, to go to the town's building department to make sure that there are no open permits pertaining to this property. Make sure that all work has been done by a licensed contractor and there are no open permits. And if there are some additions like bedrooms or shed, these are all done with a permit. If it's not done with a permit, then the new buyer may run into issues like, if the town decides to tear it down to make sure that it's all compliant with the code, then you may incur losses in terms of redoing the whole thing because the town wants to inspect, which should have been done by the previous seller. So one of the major things is to make sure your property is zoned rightly. There are no notice of defaults. There are no unpaid dues to the town. Another major part is making sure you are in the right neighborhood. You may not have had enough time to make sure that you like the neighborhood, but that's one thing I actually advise my buyers to always drive around the neighborhood to make sure that you like the neighborhood before you actually put the offer in. You have to make sure that it's not too noisy to your liking, and you should also consider the insurability of the property. So if you are able to secure a homeowner's insurance or not, and how much it will cost you to secure a homeowner's insurance is also a part of due diligence. So once you do your new due diligence, this helps you to assess what is the kind of repairs or legal issues you will run into if you're going ahead with the contract. Let's say you have a lien on the property, unpaid dues, which is supposed to be paid off by the seller. Yes, you can ask them to pay it off, otherwise it's going to be your liability once the property has been transferred to you. And so once you have this due diligence done, you can always negotiate. Let's say you find out some permit has not been closed, you can always insist that the seller does close the permit before the closing day. Buyer due diligence is a lot of homework which is to be done by the buyer. It's to be done by the buyer, for the buyer, paid by the buyer.